Hello, awesome authors, and welcome to this episode of Answering the Call to Write. I am Meliza. I am the author of the books Answering the Call to Write. I'm also the host of this podcast, and this podcast is dedicated to help you write, publish, and promote the book that is written on your heart. I'm so excited this morning to introduce to you the beautiful Tosari Thomas. She is a West Australian mum of two, and her heart is for community. She is trained as a youth worker and worked previously as a school chaplain. Tosari, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. What is life in West Australia like?
Have you ever been?
No.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. You should come. You should come for a visit. It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying this time of year now that we are technically in autumn. But it's beautiful, like all year round. It's always sunny. I believe it is the sunniest state in Australia. I always thought it was Queensland. But no, it's lovely. It's a great place to visit. Wink, wink. So yeah.
I'm definitely keen. I am living in the wettest place on the
Yeah.
planet, Preston. It's always grey and rainy, so I'm ready for some sunshine. So
Absolutely.
you are the author of a beautiful children's book called Mummy, Bee and Me. And it's described as a delightful rhyme of a bee and a flower, showcasing their divine bond and the strength of life giving. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write Mummy, Bee and Me, and a little bit about the story.
Okay. There's a lot there. So I I was like end of last year, I think it was, I was really asking the creator like how I should spend my time. And I kind of kept asking, and then one night I had a dream, and in the dream I really felt and sensed that he was saying to me to spend time writing books, and the sense I got was for children. Then I was excited about that, and I was like, he knows me, he knows.
Yeah.
Not that I ever contemplated actually ever writing a book, full stop, but I'm a bookworm, and I throughout uni I enjoyed essay writing, I've always enjoyed language, and so I was excited, sensing he knows me, I should actually spend my time doing this. I never thought to do this. Then I started, and I homeschool, so I started very late at night. Got cracking at about 9 or 10 p.m., maybe even 11 at night on this kind of 365 book for kids. Then I quite quickly got tired, and that kind of got shelved. And if I'm being honest, probably a little bit overwhelmed by it too, in the sense of this is new for me. So then on Facebook, no, so that was 2 years ago, the dream. So end of last year, on Facebook, I saw somebody running a workshop, and it was for free. And as I listened to it, she was talking about creating a children's books and the thing that grabbed me was it said something like, do it in 30 or 60 days, publish the book. And I was like, what? And then as I listened, something just stood out, and it was basically, consider engaging the parent, like consider engaging them, because, oftentimes they're the one that continues to read that same children's book over and over. And I can tell you the ones I enjoy to this point, and the ones I, do not enjoy.
Yep.
They get repetitive. And as I heard that, I was just like, oh, I can actually do this. Like I've got something that would be for kids and a mum, to share. And so honestly, that night I sat down and I wrote it, kind of wrote it as a bit of a rhyme. And then from there, it all did happen quickly. I reached out to you, found out about you guys, and you helped with the editing and just general, what on earth do I do and how do I go about this? So yeah, that was really how it all began. Yeah.
That's really awesome. I love the idea of reaching parents through these children's stories. I remember those days of sitting with my two. They are teenagers now, but I love those times sitting with the books, and there are still some of those books that I can quote verbatim because the
Yeah,
stories
wow.
were just so beautiful and so creative. And yeah, I think it's definitely such an amazing way to speak to the heart of a parent. And sometimes parents need some encouragement and they need some inspiration too. There's nothing worse than when your child picks a book that is so boring. You don't want to read it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, it's great that you get to express your creativity and the message that you carry as well in like children's book form. So tell us a little bit about the story itself. What is Mummy B and Me about?
So it's really about the relationship of give and take. So we've got the bee that is providing essentials to the flower. We've got the flower that provides essentials to the bee. And within that, there is harmony in nature, and there's actually a vibrant community. And with mum, with child, with the one sitting there reading it together, it's really about going down that rabbit hole of this is a give and take relationship. And yeah, I very much put my story with my kids and my reflections on that life-giving give and take relationship. And yeah, that's certainly come through. And I just want to put, I think as well, like I got such a sense of, as I was reflecting on the bee and the flower and how they provide essentials to one another. I think for me, I had this sense of, there's such tranquility there and there's such harmony there. And I felt like we all need more of that. We all need more of harmony. And my hope is really, as people read it, we're very, as mums, we know the role. We are, from the minute you find out you're pregnant and you turn down that first glass of wine, we're very aware of what we give and all that's involved in that. But I think that it's a real treasure uncovering what a child gives. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I read one of the quotes in your book. It says, as you grew inside Mummy, she nourished your tummy. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Oh, no, that is. Oh, no, that is the right one. Sorry. As you grew inside Mummy, she nourished your tummy. You shared your tiniest of cells, helping Mummy grow strong as well. And it reminded me of something I learned like ages ago, that when the mother is pregnant, whether she actually carries that baby to term or not, there are an exchange of cells that happens within the body. So she receives some of the cells from the baby. And if that mom gets sick, those are the cells that actually show up and fight all those, I don't know all the technical terms, but they fight all the bad cells or the viruses that tries to attack the body. And I just thought that's such an incredible design, isn't it? That, this little person that you're giving life to is actually providing you with some life-giving benefits as well. That's just
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, absolutely. And like I love that you know that. I think that it's kind of only been discovered in the last few decades, scientists were trying to understand it. And yeah, like even pregnancy for people, mine were pretty easygoing in the sense of, I did vomit on a tree, but I've got other friends that, have had full-on pregnancies, or even crises in pregnancies. And so we are like, as we live through it, we're very familiar with what we're going through, and then at the same time, on this tiny cellular level, there is, yeah, like you said, there's cells that from the first few weeks that are babies in the womb. There's cells that are sent to, you know, the sites of injury and the sites that need repair. So, you know, the book, I put that in there because it's, you know, it's on many different levels. We're really complex, you know, as people, and you know, on an emotional level and on a biological level. You know, it's about exploring what we are being given, you know, the treasures of what we're given.
Yes, it's amazing. So I love this line from your book as well, where it says, Mummy B told me all she knew with lots of love and patience too. But you, my dear, taught Mummy B life was found in things unseen. I love that quote as well. It resonated with me because my little boy, when he was 3, he's not 3 anymore. He's not a little boy anymore. He's a big boy, 16. But when he was 3, I had this conversation with him that just absolutely blew my mind. Like he actually taught me that it is possible to see with the eyes of your heart. I don't have time to go into the details, but it made me think of that conversation I had with him. And just
Wow.
this quote is such a beautiful reminder of how much we actually learn from our children. I think sometimes as an adult, you think it's all up to you, you know everything, but there's been so many times where my children have just taught me incredible things about life. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that
Yeah, for
quote?
sure. Oh, that's amazing. I think that really excites me when I hear that from you, because that's the intention behind the book. That, you know, that it would awaken that consciousness and that reality, or even possibilities. So I'm looking at my notes because I told you beforehand, you know, I'm a talker. Um, but yeah, like I was saying before, you know, even in any relationship, there can be, when we have expectations of what it should be, or even just what we think it is, we can actually be disappointed. And so I'm wanting to kind of, you know, with possibilities, with imagination, with memories, help define, you know, what is it that children give, and opening our eyes to that. I love that you just said opening, you know, eyes to your heart, opening your eyes to that. And life is found in things unseen. You know, that's very much how it is with a child. And it is intangible, you know, and love is intangible. Um, and I was thinking actually yesterday that I, being a bookworm and being somebody that actually really likes to study and actually really enjoys being intellectual, you know, if I have this expectation that I will get that, this part of who I am, and have that enhanced, you know, by my children that are 7 and 4, well, I'm going to be really disappointed. So what I'm going to do instead is in my week, I'm going to make time for that to continue to be, yeah, just to continue to grow in that and continue to just enjoy that in my own time. And so what they give is intangible, and it's beautiful. And I want to just share this with you quickly. So I learnt in doing the book that a bee is actually drawn to the light of a flower, and there's ultraviolet lights that
Wow.
radiate off the flower. And that kind of had me going, okay, like thinking about my eldest son now. So my eldest son, what color would he be? Well, he radiates green. He is he's very adventurous. He is a joker. He's got a lot of life. He's got a lot of zest. You know, he puts like rattlesnakes under my pillow. He puts toy spiders in my
My life
underwear.
will be over by then. I have an intense fear of snakes.
And we live right near the bush, so you know, every time I actually think it's real. But such an adventurous spirit. And you know, then I've got a daughter who's 4, and you know, the light and the color that comes off her life is purple. And purple to me has always kind of been very royal. And so with my daughter, I say that because she's 4, but she's kind of got this old soul. Like she's got this maturity. She definitely has her moments. She definitely has her big tears. But she's got this maturity about her, and she's an old soul in a way. And she also, for a 4-year-old, she seems to really carry and understand her worth. And so I think of purple, and I'm just like, you know, these colors just radiating in my life. Like I could not do without them now that, you know, I can see that, and I can just like dwell on that and reflect on that. And I think the book is really about, you know, it's going to be different for each mother, because each child has a different blueprint. And, you know, not only from the get-go biologically is there physical, you know, life and repair happening, but on this, yeah, beautiful relational level, you know, as we step back and kind of make time to be conscious of what they give day in and day out, then that only leads to harmony and that tranquility that everybody wants.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So, what did you enjoy most about creating this beautiful book?
Probably just the fact that I did actually do it. Like I did actually get it done. I think, yeah, I think just, you know, actually completing it in that night, so to speak, like just sitting down. I think I stopped at 3 a.m. that night. That first night, after I decided, no, I can do it. You know, I can write for both. It doesn't have to be for the one. I can write for both, and they can share it, and it can be a lifelong book. That's always a source of encouragement. I think just sitting down, having done it, you know, it not being that fantastic, but the bare bones, like being there, I think that was fantastic. And then, you know, having a bit of support from you, and then just Dr. Google, like helping me to piece it together bit by bit. It's like, wow, you know, it was done. And then I'll show you this one. I ended up doing another 3 a.m. night where I did a journal. And I think I just enjoyed that. It was just like, I wanted to enhance the book even further and just come up with a way. I bought my own journal because it's like, I want to continue in gratitude, and I wanted to continue to uncover and go down this rabbit hole of the beautiful exchange that happens all the time. And even like, you know, my son's actually been playing with a magnifying glass that he got from his auntie. And, you know, even with that magnifying glass, as he's looking at things, I was thinking yesterday that, you know, we don't pay attention to what's happening between the bee and the flower. You know, we'd have to look with a microscope or at a very granular level, but it is happening like all the time around us, and it's really about being conscious of it. And so I really enjoy putting together a journal. I'm someone I've always enjoyed doing that, and I think I really enjoyed putting that together, and that was just fun. That was just enjoyable. Yeah.
It is really amazing when you actually see that thing that was in your unseen realm, right? You've had this concept, this idea, and you start to see it come into the natural world. You finally hold a copy of your book and your creation. It is it's a wonderful feeling. And I think so many people would actually take a step of faith and courage and actually do the thing that's in their heart to do if they knew that it wasn't that impossible. You know, when you just start taking some action, which you did, which is amazing, you take one little step towards it, and then you figure out the next step. You don't need to know the whole process, and there's always people who will come alongside and help and get you where you need to go. So it's amazing. So what did you find really challenging about writing and publishing?
Yeah, look, the actual process, not at all. I think the only thing would be, I'm working on a second book at the moment. It's basically done. I'm just kind of mulling on it now, but with that one, I've used AI art. So I just paid for a subscription and I've used AI art for that. And it is beautiful, but it's different. And with Mummy B and Me, I did pay somebody to do the illustrations, and I enjoyed that, going back and forth with her and seeing that come alive. But I think probably if, you know, you don't have a lot of startup, but you've got a desire to write, and you're meant to be writing because it's, you know, part of who you are, it's part of how you create, it's a piece of you, then, you know, yeah, you don't have 10K, you know, it's okay. But that, I would probably say that's the only thing in terms of, you know, I want to pay people well to do illustrations, because they're putting their art and their time into it.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only hurdle.
Yeah. I think one of the things for me as well when I started out is I didn't realize the cost involved in writing and publishing. There are many things that you can do on your own, but there are some things that you're going to need some help with. And a lot of those things are other people's bread and butter, and it costs, you know, it's a service that costs. So, you know, one of the things that I do in my Answering the Call to Write workbook is I give people just a kind of list of costs that they have to consider. So it helps when you have that up front and you can start to think about the demands and the, you know, just budgeting for getting some of these things done, because it can be quite disheartening when you start, you get the ball rolling, and then, oh my goodness, there's this expense and then there's that expense. So it helps to just be prepared. And it is, some of these things are expensive. Getting a good illustrator can be really, really expensive. And there is the wonderful world of AI. Having said that, my experience has been up and down with using AI. There are some really interesting creations that it'll come up with. So yeah, that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I would prefer to communicate with a person, and I think
Yes.
like I don't know, like the subscription I used only actually had a certain amount of words as well for what I was describing.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I need to try and put in, you know, 25 or whatever it was, 25 words or less, exactly what I want from this, you know. But anyways, it's all good. I think it's something different, which is good. And you know, if you don't want money to limit you, then honestly it cost me a $20 subscription. So yeah.
Amazing. If you had advice for somebody who is thinking about writing, or they're kind of in the process at the beginning stages, what advice would you give them?
I just feel like more and more, something that I've enjoyed now, having just done this, is a few people have said to me in conversation, oh, I've actually wanted to do that, or I actually thought of doing that, or when I was younger, I thought of doing that. And that excites me now, because it's like we're having conversations now about writing books, and that potential just excites me. And I think, you know, if you're like me and maybe you've always enjoyed language, you've always enjoyed books, you know, you might actually have a desire, or you might be really good at writing a book, but maybe like me, and you know, just never thought you would, or never dreamed about it. And I would just say, just to go for it. And then, you know, if you reach a point where you just stop, like I did early on, you know, in my tracks, I just kind of stopped. I think, you know, wrestle with that doubt, wrestle with, you know, can I do it or not? Because, you know, you'll get through that. And I think, you know, you and I were saying earlier too, it's about, you know, we write to create, you know, we write, to create a piece of art. And I think that if you are enjoying doing that, then that's a really good sign. Like, just keep going. It's meant to be enjoyable, and it is enjoyable for me. And I think just go for it. And if doubt, surfaces, just deal with that. Because I was familiar with that too.
Yes. I think that's such good advice, because there's nothing like that creative process of writing a book that will bring stuff up that you haven't quite dealt with, like those doubts and insecurities. I mean, I had some major insecurities. English is not my first language. So here I was writing an English book, and I'm like, should I really be doing this? And there are loads of things that we perceive as barriers that are not really obstacles or barriers to even worry about. So I love that. Yeah, don't be afraid when those things come up and you don't know how to maneuver next. Just wrestle with that. I love to actually sit with that thought and unpack it a little bit and think, where did this come from? Why do I believe this? And it's amazing what you'll discover when you go down that path.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So, do you have a copy of Mummy V and Me? Can you show us a few of the pictures, illustrations? Oh, it's beautiful. What's your favorite illustration in there? Oh, it's so beautiful, so colorful.
I like these two the most. Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. I think also as well, like I've been saying to my dad he should be writing, I'm kind of similar in the sense of he's similar in the sense of, a bookworm. And I think maybe it just, it doesn't enter the mind to write a book because, we know what are the chances of getting on board with a real publisher.
Yeah.
But I think it's the kids and I were doing some art today of Van Gogh's sunflowers, and Van
Oh,
Gogh's sunflowers, that's a $40 million painting. And it's like, I'm sure as he did that, of sunflowers in a pot, there was no thought in his mind that it would be a $40 million painting. So I think just create. And I think we all are born to create in some way, for sure.
yeah.
And I think that, yeah, regarding writing and books, like if that's going on in you in some way, then I just say, why not? Like, why not have a go at it, and why not enjoy doing it as you go?
Yes. So good. So before we close our conversation, just give us an idea of who is the ideal reader for Mummy V and Me.
Well, mummies,
Mummies.
but with their kids.
Uh,
So, this is a lifelong journey, and the journal and the book are written for longevity. They're written to I mean, I've got my story in terms of, my reflections with my kids, and how I see they enhance my life. In all of my giving, I see how they enhance my life in ways that, can't even quite put my finger on physically and tangibly. But it'd be a great gift for a baby shower. And, people are, I had no idea before children. I had no idea what was coming. And I think it would be a beautiful thing for people to start telling their stories of give and take. And it'd be beneficial for somebody, that's pregnant, through to, somebody that's just older and has got grown-up kids. I had someone contact me recently, and she just was reflecting on, her grown-up kids now that are, in their 30s. And I think it's what is better in life than tranquility and harmony in relationships. Like, at the end of the day, it's really what we want. So yeah.
Awesome. And where can people get a copy of your book, and how can they connect with you?
So a little birdie, aka you, Meliza, suggested Amazon. And Amazon, it's been a really great experience with them. They're very efficient. So it's available on Amazon. Mummy B and Me is, if you're in Western Australia, it is in the library system. So yeah, and I'll probably at some stage build a website, but I haven't quite gotten to that.
Yeah, awesome. Right, so I'm going to add the links for you as well to Tosari's book on Amazon, as well as her Facebook page for Mummy B and Me. So follow her there. Thank you, Tosari, for sharing your experience and your beautiful book with us. And thank you, everybody, for watching and for listening. Let us know where you're watching from. Comment, like, subscribe, do all of those wonderful things, because it helps us broaden our reach and get these amazing books into the hands of the people who need them. So thanks very much. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you.